Hey, figured I'd just do a quick little bot match before the season ends, just to kind of show off what season 3 sort of looked like before the big change coming up on Friday. What I usually do is I like to do bot matches just because it's no stakes, low pressure, kind of just go at your own pace. It's a lot of fun, honestly. I kind of prefer it. Um, it's just something to sort of pass the time because there's not a lot to do lately, so why not just play against some AIs like a shooting gallery? Uh, so, yeah, I'm not too good at the whole commentary thing. I apologize. Just sort of new to it all, really. Um, I doubt anyone's actually ever going to watch the video that I'm going to be uploading, but hey, if you do, thanks for watching it. I appreciate it. I'm not a huge Fortnite expert or nothing like that. I'm a pretty casual sort of gamer. Um, kind of just an old man getting used to the new world of games that we're in. But I've enjoyed it a lot. The past year, I've been pretty sick with kind of a really not too great illness, so this game has been a good way to sort of pass the time for me. So people have a lot of problems with Fortnite, and I'll say, yeah, I can see a lot of the issues. Monetization is usually not the best thing. Um, the things we said about how addicting purchasing can be, and also the whole using V-Bucks to sort of obfuscate how expensive things really are. But I can't deny at the end of the day that despite that, the game has a very solid core to it when it comes to like overall game feel. And I also think it has one of the best presentations I've seen in the game. I mean, the art style, um, I feel is really consistent. And the fact is, it also merges multiple styles at once. Sometimes that goes pretty well. Other times, maybe not as consistent as it could have been. But there's no denying that it offers something for everyone. I mean, look, I get to play as Ash Williams, and I get to, shoot people from all sorts of different franchises, and even the original characters themselves for the game. A lot of them are superbly designed, I feel. This season in particular had a lot of my favorite character designs. Thunder, in particular, I felt was a really nice addition. Really unique looking character. Like the Thunder Roll song they made for him, a really catchy one. They put a lot of good work into this game. So while the corporate parts of Epic Games I don't agree with, because that's where the monetization ideas come from. The people that are responsible for making the actual game itself, I think they've done an amazing job. That's fun. Yeah, it's just a shame katanas aren't around anymore due to some sort of glitch that was going on. Kinda, kinda sad. Also, no bounty boards either. Um, Hopefully, next season we'll bring those back at least. Probably not going to be seeing katanas again for a while, unfortunately. Again, I apologize if my voice sounds weird. I'm not used to talking this much or on a microphone at all either. Right now, heading up to this building right here, Fire Ghost Sanctuary. I've only been playing Fortnite since probably back in October of last year. That's when I really started getting into it, and even then, I didn't even fill out the entire map. So really, I guess you can say I started more with season 1 of chapter 4 back in December. Um, Excuse me, I have the sniffles. It's been really neat watching the map change between the first and second season. The medieval theme was really nice, but I've really enjoyed the more Neo Tokyo sort of vibe with it. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoy the style of the buildings that were included. Locations are just really pleasant to look at. Epic's art department, they know what they're doing. They are really good at their jobs. I've also appreciated the what do you call it? Yeah, the little perk system here. It's been a great way to make each game feel a bit more different and dynamic. And also, there's a whole having to decide if I'm wanting to re-roll and spend my currency, or if I should just stick with what I'm given and find a way to adjust my strategy around it. Again, one of the great things about playing bot matches is you're probably never going to be wanting that much for gold because it is so much easier to acquire. It really is just reminding me of the days when I used to just play like Gary's Mod and murder a bunch of NPCs for fun. Which, you know, I mean, some people maybe don't enjoy that much. For me, I enjoy the simpler pleasures of that. Just sort of going at my own pace, having my own fun, you know? For me, PvE, that is what I love the most. I've never been much of a competitive shooter kind of guy. Now, I'm aware that Fortnite has a Save the World mode, which in and of itself, I played a little bit of. And while I think it was all right, it just didn't really grab me that much. Oh. Well, that's new. I've never seen that before. That was interesting. I'm gonna have to check later what that's all about. I've never seen an answerable phone before in game. That's new to me. Ooh. So I like the Keymaster perk. That's probably my favorite because, again, you know, it's like it allows you to, you know, acquire items and weapons that can really be beneficial early game. Especially with these heisted weapons. I think these showed up, during the Gold-Blooded event that was, like, at the end of last season. I regret that I didn't really participate that much. This is, again, going back to how tempting Epic's, you know, microtransaction practices are. I found myself, instead of actually doing the event, I just bought all the tiers for it because I was so lazy at the time. That and all the health stuff going on at the time, too. It hasn't been until recently that I finally got done with pulmonary rehab for my illness. During that time when all that was going on, it was just sort of a pain to really keep up with the game. And again, the fun of bot matches, you just sort of feel cool, even though, yeah, you're fighting AI. But hey, for me, I have fun. But yeah, during that time, wasn't really feeling the best, so lately things have been getting a lot better for me. So I just kind of wanted to just share what it is I've been experiencing with this game and why I've kind of appreciated it. Again, far from perfect, but you cannot deny that Mega City, I think, is a really nice looking location in the game. It's just a shame. I wish it was bigger, though. Because, you know, when you think about a place called Mega City, like, you know, you think like cyberpunk levels of, like, Night City, right? Like, something massive. Or you think, like, Blade Runner, you know, a giant, like, future city. In this, it feels more like maybe, like, a small district. Not quite a mega city. But you know, you kind of just have to deal with the hand that you're given, I suppose. Like I said, I mean, I'm an older person playing this game, so my standards are a bit different and expectations. For younger folks, maybe they're fine with what has been given in this game. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, being a younger person enjoying this game. I know the internet likes to decry it a lot because, oh, only kids play this game. It's like, yeah, so? Kids play a lot of games. What about it? I played all sorts of games when I was a kid. Ouch. You know, it doesn't matter really how old you are. I mean, if a game is fun, play it. Don't feel ashamed for it. You know? Just because I have problems with the game doesn't mean I think, you know, you're a fool for enjoying it. And if you're fine with the microtransaction practices, I'm not going to decry you for that. It's just, you know, as an adult, I mean, I grew up with the PlayStation 1. That was my first console. So, growing up, we didn't really have a lot of microtransactions in games. I did see the rise of DLC itself. Although, I was more used to DLC being huge expansion packs that really added more onto a game. Nowadays, DLC is sort of transitioned in a more cosmetic sort of sphere where usually you don't pay for advantages as much anymore in games. I know some MMOs probably. But nowadays, in a game like Fortnite itself, although there is monetization out the wazoo, as the kids say, it's not too egregious as, say, you know, other games that are similar in genre. Like, actually, no, I can't really think of any. See, this is the problem with rambling content, is I'm not really sure what I'm saying half the time. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Fortnite's microtransaction system is more focused entirely on the cosmetic. And while I wish more things maybe were free, the actual meat and potatoes, the actual game itself, what you can play, gameplay itself, it is completely free to play. And that's good. Because there was a lot of avenues they could have taken, and instead, you know, I mean, you cannot buy any advantage at all whatsoever. You can't buy better weapons with real money. You can with gold bars that you've accrued over the course of a season, but again, there's no money involved in that process. So while Fortnite itself ain't perfect, it certainly is at least one of the more, you know, tame games when it comes to monetization. Which, of course, you know, shouldn't really be patting him on the back either, because it's like, you know, I mean, good job, you're not greedy. It's not a huge feat, but it's still something to appreciate. Especially, you know, in a modern game climate where things, you know, seem more greedy than usual. It is kind of refreshing where you have a free-to-play game where you have no boundaries when it comes to actual playing. You know, one of my favorite games was Warframe. And thinking back to Warframe and comparing it with this, I will say I don't know if I can ever really go back to Warframe because of how many restrictions there are in terms of gameplay. Because the thing about Warframe is you can only get so many frames, you know, unlocked before you run out of space. And then what's the solution for that? Well, you're going to have to buy frame slots. What's that? You want a little animal companion? It's going to take a while to grind out the genetic code and get it. Oh, and also, you also need to buy more space to get more animals. It just gets sort of really uncomfortably, like, scuzzy feeling. Of course, mind you, the Warframe is an entirely different beast than, let's say, Fortnite. Warframe in and of itself is... how do I want to put it? Warframe is very much more of an MMO-style game than Fortnite is. At least similar in terms of mechanics, and stuff like that. But, I mean, Warframe already made a whole bunch of money off of just cosmetics itself. So, I guess the problem kind of boils down to... what do I want to say? You see, I'm terrible at the stream of consciousness because I just ramble so much. I apologize for that. But I guess with Warframe, when comparing it with other games, it just feels like they have so many different revenue streams that it just becomes kind of redundant unless you just purely think about the fact that, oh, well, we need constant expansion. And, you know, the thing about games is, yeah, they're products. And, you know, capitalism itself is a constantly expanding beast. And while that is the truth, it's also just, I don't know, it kind of takes away the magic of games when you're so focused on how you can keep squeezing every ounce of blood from the stone. How much you can charge your players, what you can charge them for. It just, I don't know, it just kind of bothers me a bit. Because I remember back in the days, you know, you used to get a game and just be all feature complete. Oh. Ooh. Well, that hurt. I'm not a nice person. I'm sorry. Hey, Stray. You're dead. Ghost parkour. But yeah, it's just the constant need for continued growth via short-term investments. It's just really gross to me. I just feel like there's no pride in the product you create at that point. You're just doing whatever you can to make as much money, and when you can't make any more, you just go. And that's rather disheartening because video games themselves are incredibly difficult to make. I feel for the people that actually make the games. Because even with a game like Fortnite, you can see the seasonal stuff. You're always seeing content constantly being replaced and gone. And hundreds, if not thousands of hours of man work and manpower and stuff. You know, it's just erased. That's kind of sad. Like, for instance, the next season is coming up, and a huge portion of this map is about to go. Now, on one hand, Fortnite's always, like, evolving nature. You know, really cool, I think. Really unique to the game. But, the problem is, these places that, you know, game designers worked on are going to be gone. They're going to be a distant memory for players, and it's going to be like it never existed besides, you know, a video like this that documents that at one point, yeah, the game looked like this. At one point, it was like this. I mean, I remember, you know, I mean, no one remembers half the stuff that was probably used to be in this game because it keeps going all the time. And that happens with so many games, that things just sort of disappear. In fact, that kind of reminds me of recently Epic went ahead and delisted multiple of their old Unreal games. Or not recently, I guess that was a few months ago. And I find that incredibly disturbing in terms of preserving content. They just removed these games that built Epic's legacy. They're no longer available to purchase. And it makes you think, well, one day Fortnite itself is going to be gone. All that money you spent on the game, it's going to mean nothing one day. Because you'll no longer get to pay what you paid for. You know, I mean, for instance, this Ash Williams skin. One day, I'm just never going to have access to it again because Fortnite servers will shut down. And would you look at that? My $20 I've spent on this guy are now gone. And again, that makes me feel for the people that actually make the game as opposed to the developers. Well, you know, as opposed to the businessmen, I mean. Because I'm sure there are plenty of devs out there that want people to see their work and to always appreciate it for years to come. And unfortunately, a lot of that is just never going to come back. The state of the game you see it now, you may never see again. Probably ever. Now, I know some people with the recent creative mode push have been trying to recreate the Season 1 map, which, you know, hey, that's pretty cool. But then you gotta ask yourself, well, as nice as that is, it's never going to replicate what the developers themselves had already made. The actual official version is no longer obtainable. And that's just gone for good. Even if you remake it, it's still not going to be the same. Because the devs, you know, I mean, dev work always has that extra layer of polish and care that's put in it that a mod work or player-made sort of thing doesn't really contain that much of. No, that's not to decry and say, oh, if a player made it, it's not good. No. What I'm saying is, it's like with Team Fortress 2 when it comes to player-made hats and Valve-made hats, you know? Valve-made cosmetics just felt more special. That felt like it had a certain sheen, a certain polish to it, as opposed to whatever it is the community can make. Even though the community can make some fantastic things. And that's kind of the same with Fortnite in terms of its whole, you know, situation when it comes to its more creative endeavors by the community. And so overall, yeah, I just sort of rambled a whole bunch. It was pretty incoherent, I suppose. I apologize for that. I'm kind of just getting used to recording stuff. Because, you know, I've always wanted to do stuff like that. I've always wanted to just sort of talk. But I've always been ashamed of my own voice. I've always been self-conscious about it. Even in grad school, when I was teaching students, I felt so nervous to speak in front of them. Because I always felt so ashamed of how I sounded. You know what I mean? Ah! Dang it! Oh, I lost to bots. Huh. Oh well. But yeah. This was just a short little gameplay thingy. Just felt like doing it. Again, no one's probably going to watch this, and if people do, they're probably just going to say it's pretty terrible, and I would not blame them in the slightest. But hey, I'm just going to sign off here. If you did manage to make it through the end, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I might do another one of these again in the future. Just depends. Have a good one.